Welcome to Top 3 Evil SCP Children. Let's set the scene here. Imagine you're a parent. Okay, we know that feels increasingly unrealistic in today's economy, but work with us here. You clicked on this video after all. You've had a hard day at work, and when you come home, you might not have the energy to play with your little bundles of joy. So you decide to hire the world's cheapest babysitter to buy you a little relaxation time. The good old television. It worked for your parents, and by God, it'll work for you too. You recline in your armchair and flick through the channels until you find something that seems to have your kid transfixed. It's a loud, hyperactive cartoon with a Skittles vomit color scheme. It's the kind of thing that probably rots kids' brains faster than sherbet rots their teeth. But it's on an educational channel, so what could be the harm of it, really? As your kid sits there, eyes glued to the screen, you feel a wave of fatigue wash over you. Maybe it's all the exhaustion you've been saving up over the course of a hard day's work is hitting you. Since your kid is already occupied, there doesn't seem to be that much harm in catching a few winks. You blink, and you're awake hours later. The sun's already gone down outside, and the only light is that snowstorm black and white of television static. In front of it is the cross-legged silhouette of your kid, staring at the abstract visual noise with rapt attention. He even laughs occasionally. Something about it feels wrong. You gingerly place a hand on your kid's shoulder and give him a good-natured shake. That snaps him out of it. He turns around and gives you a warm, contented grin. "What's up, sport?" you say, suppressing a yawn. "I was just learning with Bobble," he says. "Bobble?" "The clown," he says, like it's the most obvious thing in the world, as he gives a slight nod towards the static blotted screen. You force a smile of your own and try to play along. It's a good thing to encourage an active imagination in children, isn't it? You could swear you read that in all those parenting books you read back when you were expecting. "Learn anything fun?" you ask. That wins you the biggest smile of all. "Oh yeah, lots of things." You turn off the TV and let your kid go to bed. Maybe that's what you need too, after all. You're in that strange liminal space between wake and sleep, drifting through a slightly uneasy haze. You know that what happened with your kid and the TV shouldn't unnerve you so much. Kids usually do innocently freaky stuff all the time. There's whole Ask Reddit threads full of it. You really shouldn't worry so much. So you do the sensible thing. You turn in for the night. Maybe you'll even take the day off work tomorrow. All this might just be stress and exhaustion talking. When was the last day you took off anyway? As your mind floods with comforting justifications, you drift off to a fitful sleep. The clown. Well, you've always hated clowns. As the land of dreams receives you, your last conscious thought is to not let your kid watch that channel again. But that's not a choice you get to make anymore. When you suddenly wake up in the middle of the night, perhaps from a nightmare you don't remember, it's your instinct to sit bolt upright in shock. But that doesn't happen this time. In fact, you find that you can't really move at all. You try to speak. Nothing. For a second, you think it might be that dreaded sleep paralysis that you've read so much about. But one look down the length of your body proves that to be horribly, horribly wrong. You've been tied to the bed. Looks like those same ropes you kept in the garage for maintenance projects. Your mouth is sealed shut by a shimmering strip of duct tape, and at the edge of your bed, you see a small figure standing in the dark, holding something. As your eyes adjust to the low light, you realize it's your kid, and they're carrying the hatchet you kept in the shed. "I'm gonna show you one of the things Bobble taught me," he says. "I think it's gonna be a whole lot of fun." This isn't normal, unless your kid has been exposed to SCP-993, also known as Bobble the Clown. This is a bit of an exception on this list, given that Bobble himself isn't actually an evil child. He's a cartoon clown that appears on televisions across the globe to teach his unique life lessons. Why is he on this list? Because he's one of the biggest exporters of evil children in the Foundation's entire anomalous roster. That's because the kind of lessons that Bobble teaches aren't so much "here are your ABCs" and learning your times tables, as much as they are "here's how to restrain a victim for torture," and "here are 3 handy ways of disposing of a body." And Bobble is extremely persuasive in his teaching, with the children who watch his shows being substantially more likely to commit violent and antisocial acts than kids who haven't been exposed to a malevolent supernatural TV clown. Perhaps you comfort yourself by thinking, Well, if I saw a child watching a TV clown instruct them on how to properly construct a pipe bomb, I would simply change the channel to Mr. Rogers or Sesame Street. Elmo never made an IED. Sadly, that wouldn't work, because Bobble has a remarkable ability to make adults fall asleep while watching his show, just to make sure that he can have some real quality time alone with your kids. And by the time you wake up, they're really much more his kids than yours anyway. But these next kids don't need to be taught to be evil. In fact, it comes to them as naturally as breathing. Unlike the horrors of Bobble, you don't need to have any children already in your life to be in danger here. Let's take an extremely average day. The kind you move through without thinking. Every action is muscle memory. Every moment is a repeat of countless others. Say you're craving a sandwich, but don't have any bread in your kitchen, so you decide to walk to the store and get some. It's still early after all, and it's a calm, sunny day outside. The kind of day where anything could happen. You walk with a spring in your step, maybe listening to your favorite music on headphones or earbuds as you go, just being quietly grateful for being alive as you pass down an alley. It's the perfect shortcut to the grocery store, one you've taken more times than you can even recount. And then the most eerie feeling comes over you, a squirming sensation in your stomach, the prickling of hairs on the back of your neck. You've heard it described in horror fiction and accounts of scary experiences online so many times before, but you've never actually felt it until now. That uncanny feeling that right at this moment, you're being watched. You stop and turn your head, looking over your shoulder. That's when you see her, down at the far end of the alley, the area you were just walking through to get here. A young girl in an old-fashioned private school uniform, wearing a dirty plastic pig mask, carrying a threadbare little doll. It takes you off guard so badly that you pivot on your heels to get a proper look, but by the time you've done that, she's already gone. That couldn't have been your imagination, could it? Your mind isn't the sort to play these kind of tricks on you. Sure, you watch SCP videos on YouTube and enjoy the occasional creepypasta, but why would you imagine something so vivid, so real, watching you from a safe distance? Though at that moment, safe is the last thing on your mind. You don't feel so hungry for that sandwich anymore. You want to get home as soon as possible, where you feel a little more secure, a little more in control. But all the while during that short walk back, you feel nervous, paranoid even. You keep stealing furtive little glances over your shoulder, and every time you do, you feel like you catch a glimpse of something not quite the same, but eerily similar. A little boy in a rabbit mask and a winter coat, carrying a doll by its leg. Another doll-holding girl in a bright pink beauty pageant dress, with a goat mask obscuring her face. Either you're about to be the new star of the world's cruelest hidden camera prank show, you're going completely insane, or something even worse is happening to you, and you don't really like the idea of any of that, so you block it all out and hurry back home. When you're inside, you lock every door, close every window, and pull tight the shutters and the curtains. You try to ignore it when you see shapes passing on the other side. You just need to sleep, that's all. Whatever's happening out here, it can't reach you in your dreams. You cling to the childish idea that perhaps your covers will be armor from the monsters outside. But just like the unfortunate parent in our last little vignette, you're about to get some bedside visitors. But the scariest part here is, if given the choice between them, you're better off taking the kid with the hatchet than what's about to happen to you. You wake up in the middle of the night surrounded by the ghostly children in the animal masks. They stand hand in hand with their raggedy dolls at their feet, as though incanting some kind of unknown ritual. You feel a strange power pulsing, vein-like in the room. But before you can do anything, you're asleep again. And then it's morning. No sign of the horrors that unfolded the night before. Perhaps all of it had been a dream, even the walk to the store. That's a more comforting belief than entertaining that any of this awfulness had been real. But while your beliefs can protect you from acknowledging the truth, they can't protect you from the changes about to transpire in your body. It'll start with the loss of your minor senses, your sense of smell, hearing, and taste dampening somewhat over the next week, like you've gotten a bad cold or you're listening underwater. You might notice your skin and eye color starting to alter a little too, becoming tight and shiny, almost like plastic. Then your major senses will start to fail you. Your sense of vision and touch will begin to falter. gradually separating you from the physical sensations of the world. Your organs will start to contract and twist into your body, going from flesh to cotton and polyester. You'll start withering away, becoming less and less yourself. You have no ability to control your body or your mind as you twist and shrivel and transform. And in the end, you'll just be another doll for the children, and you won't be the last either. At least when it comes to SCP-747 children and dolls, some part of you might remain. Our ultimate evil SCP child, though, they're not the kind to ever leave leftovers. Think back to when you were a kid. For some of our younger audience members, that might not even involve casting your mind back all that far. Picture all those carefree summer days when the sunset always felt hours away. No matter the time of day, hanging out with friends and making memories. Sure, there are those days where you go to the movies or sleep over at each other's houses and play video games all day and all night, but that's not one of these days. No, on a day like this, it'd be a crime to spend it indoors. So instead, you and your friends go out to a nearby park to play some soccer. The ground's flat enough, and you use your backpacks as makeshift goalposts. But one of you kicks the ball a little too hard, and it goes skidding off into the woods nearby. Naturally, you follow it. It's a good ball, one you're not about to abandon. You can't look like a coward in front of your friends, not just because it's the ball, but because of that sudden, unamiable fear creeping in as the trees close around you. But you have every reason to be afraid. You just don't know it yet. It doesn't take you long to find the ball, at least. While you and your buddies are leaning in to grab it, you hear a strange noise. Psst! You look up, wondering if it's maybe some kind of animal or bird, and you're shocked at what you see. It's a treehouse. Not the big professional kind you mainly see in cartoons. It looks a lot more homemade, cobbled together out of fallen branches and rough, unrefined pieces of wood. There's a kid staring out of the entrance, a kid whose face seems oddly familiar, but you can't place where you've seen him before. Psst, he says. Come see. It's almost as though every cell in your body rises to resist the command at once. Your mind is hijacked by the spirit of some distant ancestor who remembers what it's like to be chased through the mountains by wolves and bears. You know it in your bones, marrow deep, that if you go up into that treehouse, something terrible is going to happen. Your friend clearly doesn't share your reservation. Before you can stop him, perhaps eager to prove his machismo in front of you, he starts climbing the ladder up into the treehouse. You can't watch this. To your terrible shame, you turn and run, out of the woods, out of the park, and all the way home, knowing in your heart that you avoided a terrible fate. And that's when you remember where you saw that kid's face, on a missing persons poster tacked onto the bulletin board outside your school. The next day, your curiosity carries you back there. Lord only knows why. Maybe there's just something you're meant to see. Or maybe you even want to prove that you really did see that treehouse, or comfort yourself with the knowledge that you didn't. But when you arrive, it's still there, just as you remember it. Then you hear it. Psst! You look up to the treehouse, suddenly aware of the tightness in your throat. Your friend is staring out of the treehouse, with the same oddly blank expression that the kid yesterday had. Psst! Your friend says. Come see. It's SCP-974, the Treehouse Predator. Now check out SCP-3082, Neverland's Lost Boys and Girls, or SCP-5094, Miss J's Whiz Kid Schoolhouse for more.